Hello everyone. Today our session is about how to teach vocabulary effectively. I mean the effective strategies for vocabulary acquisition and retention. The how vocabulary can be taught, being a lesson, how it can be taught effectively. First of all, I will discuss the session outcome. Today's session outcome are understand the crucial difference between vocabulary acquisition and retention. What is the difference between acquisition, acquire, and then have retention of vocabulary, then explore key strategies for effectively introducing new vocabulary, and key strategies, what are the strategies that can be used uh, for vocabulary learning. Also, we'll discover powerful technique for ensuring long-term retention, the long-term goal of vocabulary learning, how it can be achieved, and identify practical tool and activity to implement in your classroom. Tomorrow, for English language teacher, will share knowledge about how practical tool and activities can use to implement in the classroom for the future. So let's move to the next. Why vocabulary matters. As we know that vocabulary matters a lot in our English language learning. According to famous linguist, without grammar, very little can be conveyed. Without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. If you don't have vocabulary, speaker doesn't have vocabulary, he or she cannot convey the meaning. It was by David Wilkins, 1972. He said this. Understanding vocabulary. How can we understand vocabulary? For example, if we study different feature of text, each text has different features. Similarly, vocabulary, when we talk about vocabulary has different kind of we have affixes, we have collocation in vocabulary, we have idiom in vocabulary, multiverbs in vocabulary, polysemy in vocabulary, and register. If we talk about affixes are the group of the letters that are added at the beginning or the to the beginning at the end of the word. For example, prefixes, which are before a word, right? Before the word start, so we prefix it. It's change the category of the word to opposite, like healthy, unhealthy, important, unimportant. So so these are prefixes. Then suffixes, that which are added at the end of a word, and which mean that at the end of the word, which change word family in a word. So change the grammatical category of the word. For example, noun to adjective to or verb to noun, adjective in base form, then noun, adjective, adverb, etc. For instance, we say productive, productively, productivity. So production. So these are these are suffix that are used at the end of the word. If we talk about a collocation, refers to words that are found together in a language. For example, we use soft drink and fast food. We cannot say soft food, fast drink. So these are some words that are collocation which are supposed to be used together. Let's talk about the idioms. Are the expression whose meaning are different from the individual word that make them idioms. Their contextual meaning is different from the real meaning. Their exact word meanings are different from their contextual meaning. For denotative and connotative meanings are different. For example, I lost my head completely, it means I'm confused, I forgot something, not I lost something like I lost my wallet, I lost my pen. No, not this, like this. Then it comes multiverbs. Multiverbs are verb made of two or more words. The words are a verb plus a preposition or an article. For example, we also say phrasal verb: get on, get off, get out, come in, come on, put on, according to. So these are multiverbs. They are chunks, vocabulary chunks also. Then it comes to polysemy. Polysemy refers to quality of some word to have several related meanings. One word have several. For example, I say head, head of the department, head part of body, head teacher, had any important or main entity. So that it refers to head office. Then it comes to register, often refers to the degree of formality of language, how formal language or informal language is used. So that is register. Register also refers to register of different class of different professions. So like academic English, English for specific purpose, English of lawyer, English of business person. So all these comes under the register. How can we acquire vocabulary, acquisition of vocabulary? Any time we want to learn any vocabulary words, it is very important to start from the basic thing like meaning, then form, and then pronunciation. First of all, we study meaning, what some words, how some words mean, what is, then form, and then what does it mean. Use concept check question. Visual or synonyms is enormous, big or small, bigger than, big. Mean, the meaning, to check the meaning we use concept check question. But first of all, convey the meaning to the student what something is. For example, I say this one is a pencil, so how can I make it as my student to understand it? So first of all, concept check question, what are the meaning of. Then form, for example, how is built, identify the part of speech, spelling, and common collocation with, write with pencil, not write on pencil, with pencil, so collocation. And also pay attention. If we use the word attention, we say pay attention, not do attention. So similarly, form in its noun, verb, adjective, adverb, etc. And then next, pronunciation is equally important. How does the word sound? Drill the word stress, intonation, and individual phonemes for students, like photography. So where is the pronunciation? When pronounces correctly, students learn it better. So meaning, form, and pronunciation are important and basic or fundamental strategies to teach a word. According to the research, the retention strategy are spaced repetition in how many days or months. Normally people forget. For example, they want the word, when we learn a word 100% in our memory, after 7 days started dropping. Because if we don't revise, repeat, then it will be dropped and it will not be part of our memory, and we will forget it. We forget rapidly, reviewing vocabulary, increasing interval exam day 1 3. So it is essential to push from short-term memory to long-term memory. We'll tell you next slide how can we make it possible. Vocabulary teaching strategies. In terms of vocabulary teaching strategies, how can we teach vocabulary effectively so student can learn it? First of all, teach vocabulary in context, not isolation. Okay, for example, I want to teach my student the word concept. If I teach them just concept, meaning, form, pronunciation may teach, but it might not be effective. But if we teach our students how to in a context, we give a context. I want to teach some vocabulary word relevant to AI, so there should be AI context. I want to teach student about festival, there should be festival context. About read my I want to teach my student vocabulary. First, context matter, in what context they are learning. Then encourage active use of retrieval and retrieval new words. Active use mean, for example, if student already know the word, they will not learn, like creation, factor, filter, hypothesis. So student, they should be little challenging, so they have curiosity to learn new words. Don't teach the words which are easy for student or they already know. Another technique that can be effective is teaching word families, collocation, and for word families, for example, we use the word decide, decision, decisive, decisively. Base form is decide, then like verb, then decision, noun, decisive, adjective, decisively, adverb. So if we put same words in different categories from grammatical form, it is also easy for student to learn word. And use spaced repetition and recycling. So whenever we use word, for example, I'm teaching my student 10 words about anything, like about using AI in the learning English. So I give them 10 words, and say I should repeat. For example, the all, if listening, reading, speaking, or any activity, all should revolve around those words, key vocabulary, and we should recycle. I have read that SQ3 or formula about reading. It's given by a psychologist. The S means survey, Q mean question, 3R mean read, revise, and repeat. So 3R mean if we read at the end of the session, revise it, and in 24 hours repeat it. So this way the word goes to long-term memory from short-term memory. So another important technique that is make vocabulary visual and multi sensory or out differences. So how can we make a visual and multi? If we want to teach a student any word, if they don't understand, we can show picture, video, or visualize or conceptual questions also or out. For example, as give them synonyms, give them antonyms, give them different situations. So we ask student to use the word like etiquettes, manners, attitude, travel habit. So we give them context and situation that they can use this in proper context and situation. Encourage deep processing. How can we ask them to give a deep processing, not only teach just word and tell them and then explain them or something context. Also for deeper understanding, we can ask student, this is the word, give synonyms, then give antonyms, use in a sentence, then tell your experience, reflect. Integrate vocabulary with force skill is second technique. For example, if we are giving student reading, before that we pre-teach vocabulary or post-teach vocabulary. So those vocabulary keywords should revolve around the text. If we give them speaking, we should give them use the following words in speaking. If listen, we should let them listen the same words, so they can listen and they can reflect. If they're writing, also we can ask student to write about the vocabulary or keywords, so this way they can learn better. Personalized vocabulary learning. How can we personalize? We can ask student to use the following words in sentences of their own and write a paragraph, write a story about themselves using the same vocabulary words. Also gamify vocabulary learning. Gamify, if we are using electronics games, video games, better. Otherwise being non-technology class, also a student for example, some student have meaning of the word, some have actual word and meaning, word and definition, words and sentence. So we can two groups two students in a group pair or groups, so this way they can match. Also one will read and other will guess the meaning, so this way gamify. Also if we are teaching them something word families, we say this student his noun, his verb, his adjective, his adverb. When word families, for example, product, noun will stand up, productively, adverb. So we give different character, this way they will understand by gaming. Whenever we teach it's a vocabulary lesson plan, not reading lesson. Normally we teach vocabulary with the reading or with the listening, but here when we have just to teach vocabulary, so we already have always we have this lesson plan for vocabulary teaching. For vocabulary we have main aim to identify meaning from the meaning, form and pronunciation of target word. First we have list of words, so main aim is student will be understanding meaning, form and pronunciation. Subsidiary aim, student will use those words in a context like in speaking or in writing, so this can be subsidiary aim. Then lesson plan starts. How can we start vocabulary lesson? First of all, similarly like other skills and knowledge lesson plan, we lead in our warm-up activity to activate knowledge, engage student, introduce to first of all bring student attention toward the context. We show them some pictures, videos, audios, some questions, so to arise their interest and to activate their camera. So for example, we are talking about sustainability is the lesson. We write a question on the board. What global issues are we facing today? A context presentation to introduce the vocabulary naturally through meaningful context. Then we give student the context that where they can use vocabulary effectively. How like we can show a short paragraph, include some target words, so give context that student can come to the lesson step by step. Eliciting and checking meaning. So this is the second stage that student will check whether student are understanding what we want to teach them, like meaning, form and pronunciation. Underlining target word in the text, a concept checking question. So this way we can elicit, we can check meaning by target, underlining target word by giving asking them CCQs. After that, the next stage is controlled practice. Here we can lesson here we can give student controlled practice to consolidate understanding through focused practice. Student give student control, like not the free practice but a control. Student learn step by step. We can give gap fill, matching exercises, or we can match definition or complete sentences, matching half of the sentence, half of the. So this way control it practice is under teacher control. The next step in vocabulary skills lesson plan is semi-control practice. In this semi-control practice, to encourage contextual use, deep processing. Now student will go to deep processing step by step. And, we can ask student or give some prompts to complete sentences using new words in pair. We can ask student to ask other to tell his story. So or use, for example, question answer using the vocabulary words. What does it mean? Also, it's a kind of find out synonyms, antonyms. Where did you hear about the words? So they can process. This is also semi-control practice. The next is free practice to promote spontaneous and communicative use of new vocab. So we can give student to use spontaneous communicative use of new vocabulary. Here we can ask divide into pairs, group, and ask them to discuss the topic, to give their response. And the final stage of the lesson plan is review and wrap up to reinforce memory and end on an active note, like quick game. Students are allowed to may speak, give presentation. If writing, we can ask them to write paragraph. So this is what we can teach vocabulary effective in the lesson plan. Then we already talked about like important resources. We will have a special session on this topic, which important resources that we can use to teach English language vocabulary. Then also anytime we have a lesson, we will have do's and don'ts in reading lesson. When you are doing a reading lesson, being an English teacher, what should you do? Teach word in context. We must teach word in context, not separately isolated form. Focus on meaning, form and use. So how can we use from meaning, what the word mean, to clear the meaning, form, grammatical form, and use. Also encourage active but practice. Student should be actively involved, all the student, all the class, not some student will be dull and other. Teach vocabulary learning strategies. For example, how can we learning strategies like retention, reflection, process, different techniques. Recycle and review regularly. At the end of the lesson, repeat what did we learn today, what are the vocabulary words, and within 24 hours we should also ask student, we can give homework so they can repeat and learn. And the thing that we should not do during the reading skill lessons are don'ts. Don't overload student with many new words. If we overload student with many new words, they will not understand and they will get confused among the words. Don't rely on translation. If we translate, student will rely on translation, not the target language words. Don't ignore pronunciation and spelling, which is also important when we are giving speaking activities. Pronunciation matters, in writing spelling matters. Don't teach word without context or usage. If there is no context, don't teach list of words. Today we'll study 10 words. It's not effective. Don't forget to check understanding at the end of the each lesson. Check understanding whether student understand everything or not. So here we have question answer time. If you have any question or need sports, we can discuss, share our knowledge or experience later. Here is my social media QR code. We can stay connected. Thank you so much for everyone to listen, watch, and giving time.